Attorney, let's go to the mailbag, shall we? I know sometimes you wanted me to do the legal stuff. Oh my goodness. So, okay, let's do some legal stuff. Brother has medical power of attorney for my father, our father, I guess. My brother selected a very good assisted living place for dad. However, it's an hour away, a half hour for brother. There's another one, the assisted living, that is literally in walking distance to me, even better. Plus, it's new. And the price is about the same. They provide the same services. About 10 miles, 10 minutes, an easy drive for my brother. Brother will not listen to me about this place. Knows about it, thinks it could be good, but his mind is set on the other place for whatever reason. So what will happen is that I will only visit dad once a week. Let's see, because it's an hour away. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I get it. If it was nearby, I can visit every day. Do I have any legal rights? Legal rights to choose a place? The answer is no, you don't, and thank goodness, right? Because here's what you're not looking at. It is very difficult, right? Very difficult to what do you want to say? Very difficult to get someone settled into a place, into a long-term care facility. Okay. So whether it's assisted living, skilled nursing, independent living, whatever, it's very difficult for folks who've been living on their own, living at home. You get them set in a place. You don't want to upset that apple cart, And another place may seem better, and you say, well, it's closer. And I say, well, yeah, okay, it's closer, but you're not there 24 hours, 7 days a week, and you're not gonna be. So, well, I could make it more often. I say, yeah, I get that. You could make it more often. But we're settled into a place which you yourself admit is a good place. The other one's more convenient. Now, if you told me that this was a place where dad's sitting in his urine all day long and Nurse Ratchet is running the place and it's just horrible, then potentially you could go to Adult Protective Services, you could go to court to have the healthcare power of attorney set aside and assume guardianship. But I'm guessing that if you're not willing to drive an hour, 2 hours, I guess, an hour each way, right? You're probably not also willing to do what it takes to go to court, to make that happen. And I don't think that would be a good idea anyway. Haul your dad into court. I mean, he trusted your brother. He trusted your brother's judgment. See, and that's one of the things that's really difficult sometimes for people to accept is that when mom or dad pick somebody, what they picked was that person's indescribable, put it that way, indescribable judgment, right? I mean, I think the law is pretty clear on it. The law is pretty clear on it. When you name somebody as your patient advocate, as your trustee, as your fiduciary, right? And it's a person, one of your relative, for example. What you're doing is you're consciously choosing to entrust your future to that person's idiosyncratic judgment. Okay? Because that's what it is. Everybody has their own idea about what should happen. This is a perfect example, okay, of why it's such a bad, no good, horrible, very bad idea to put two kids on anything, right? You say, oh, I ran into this workshop this week. Well, why shouldn't I put my kids on the house? Because now the kids have to agree on everything and they have to agree with you. And if they don't agree with you, there's nobody to cut the Gordian knot. Okay. So we've got a situation now where judgments vary. Okay. You think that it'd be just as fine to go to the newer facility that's closer. And brother might very well be thinking, we don't know, he's not here, we cannot ask him. The judge would ask him. He chose this facility, and it's not that far, not that convenient, but it's not that far either. And dad is settled in. He's got relationships now. People have this idea that when somebody has dementia, there's no more relationship. That is not true. Lots of times, and most people would prefer not to have a new roommate, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they form very deep relationships with their roommates. We've had a number of clients where it always seems to be the Tigers. I don't find anybody. Well, they develop an interest in baseball, right? I mean, I've seen that happen like half a dozen times now, where the roommate was all into baseball, and our client got into baseball because of their roommate, and it provided a bond, and like that. Like I say, I don't, I don't remember anybody bonding over the Lions, but the Tigers, yeah, they do that. My mom was that way. Um, she and Dad, took up an interest in the Boston Red Sox, and that became a real thing for them in later life. I mean, we did go to Red Sox games like once a year or something was growing up, but they were going to training camp and exhibition games and all kinds of stuff. That does happen. And I'm not saying that's going on here. The point is, you don't know, right? And brother, who has the responsibility of making the right choices for Dad, he's been entrusted with that. Dad, for whatever reason, said this one is the one who's going to make that decision. But do you see how destructive it would be? Destructive if you both had a vote. See, if you appoint two kids, right? They both have a vote. Now, this one, in our example here in the email, this one said, "Oh, can I do something legally about it? Can I go to court?" Well, no, you can't go to court. You could go to court, you get thrown out because you yourself admit it's a fine facility, just a matter of distance. So judges will drive a little bit more, and it's not worth uprooting somebody, especially when they've got the dementia, right? And they may have made these relationships, whether it's baseball, football, or checkers, who knows? Who knows? You don't know. Judge is not going to second guess the agent under the power of attorney. Not going to second guess the patient advocate, because that's the person mom and dad entrusted to make those decisions. But can you imagine the conflict if they both had an equal voice? Well, you can just imagine it, right? This is why in your own planning, the way to do it is you pick the kid you trust, all right? And if they're doing a pretty good job, good enough. What you don't want to do is create unnecessary conflict between the siblings, which you would be doing if you give them equal voice. And now we're into a long, drawn-out argument. And if anything negative happens, that's a problem. Anything negative happens and negative things happen in life. They just do. Okay? Anything negative happens, right? Then it's neener. I told you, I knew Dad was going to fall at that place. He never would have fallen. You don't know that. But you've just provided one more area of conflict. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. Don't challenge your brother. You're going to lose anyway. Okay? Just waste everything. And mostly waste family harmony, which is one of the most important things.